On this bumpy beer tasting, let us get up close and personal. I've got from Backyard Brewery out of Manchester, New Hampshire, Penny Farthing. Penny Farthing is a Vienna lager. Comes in at 5.5% ABV. This is 8 days old in the can at the time of this recording. I do have to say, when like backyards, they do not can all the time. They have a mobile canner that comes by, so it is kind of a special occasion when it does happen. But their labels are just fantastically done. I cannot wait until they actually have a full cannery going and then just canning on their own, if that ever happens. But as far as the artwork that they have done for them, it's excellent stuff. Let's go ahead and pour this into the can glass from Backyard Brewery. Since it is a lager, a little pint shouldn't hurt it as much. Shouldn't really need a special glass to help bring out the hop aromas and stuff, because there really shouldn't be much in here. First time having Penny Farthing. I'm going to leave it on the can art anyways. You guys know this is Backyard Brewery. I got it right there in the glass. It's got a nice tight, it's a little bit kind of off-white, but it's a white head. It just looks like it has a little bit of like a copper yellow hue to it. Fairly tight bubbles, some medium ones mixed in. The coloration of the beer itself is a nice copper color. Very, very clear. Looks beautiful for a lager, and a Vienna lager, being that like copper to amber coloration. So I'm going to give this a full 6 out of 6 for the appearance. Let's go ahead in for the aromas now. I don't know how many lagers Backyard Brewery has done, but for me, let's go ahead and talk about the aromas. I'm getting like a bread crust type aroma. So a little bit of like that, and the first portion of that's coming from the grist. From the hop standpoint, there's like a slight herbal to earthiness coming up. So there's possibly some German hops that are used in this. I do not know. I don't know anything that they use, but there's no off aromas in this at all. It smells nice and crisp. I don't know if it's gonna be nice and crisp in the flavor, but yeah, as far as the smell, I mean, there's no like weird fruitiness type stuff coming out of, from the yeast not being treated well during fermentation. It smells very clean. I guess that's a better word to use versus crisp in the aroma. It's a very clean smelling Vienna lager. Bread crust croutons is right along that lines. Yeah, and just a little bit of a hop nose. So very, very well done, at least for the appearance and the aroma. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 for the aromas. So I'm going to go in for the first swig. So cheers. as a home brewer, I personally have found it difficult to make a decent lager style. I even have a fermentation chamber where I can adjust the temperature. Making a clean tasting lager is something I think is kind of difficult for especially like a lot of like starting home brewers and stuff like that. But if you put your heart and effort into it, I think that you can probably pull it off. You just figure out how the yeast actually acts, what it wants. Like I stated at the beginning, I don't know if Backyard Brewery has ever actually made a lager style. I'm sure Paul, the head brewer, and Paul, the not part-time, but the other brewer that's not the head brewer, that's there as well. They have probably made home brews with lagers and stuff before. Let me just talk about the flavors in this. You get a bready / like a brown bread malt note. Why am I running out of time? Should have plenty of time. So along with that brown bread, there's a bit of an earthy herbal spice note coming from more like the hops and stuff. It's very clean tasting. There's no off flavors at all. It does have a very clean bitterness that does linger on. So there is a little tiny bit of a bitterness to this, which is, it's nice. It's working very well. Seems to have a high to light, medium, like a higher side of light body to like a low medium body feel to it. Medium carbonation. It also has like a slight bit of smoothness to the mouthfeel as well. So like what I could say is, as far as the body, if it was just a little bit on the lighter side, maybe that smoothness, maybe more carbonation. If you just kind of remove that smoothness, it might have more of that like drying effect, where it's more crisp, a little bit more crisp in the mouth, and it might invite you back just a little bit more. But absolutely nothing wrong with the flavors, the aromas in this. Fantastic, very clean, well made. Yeah, it's just kind of that whole body and carbonation feel. Could just be spruced up a little bit. So for the flavor score on this, I'm going to give it a 17 out of 19. The body, like I mentioned, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And my overall in this, for being a Vienna lager, yeah, this is, let's see, I mean, Vienna lagers that I would put this up to, I mean, you got the overall kind of well-known, I think, king of the Vienna lagers, which is the Boston lager from the Samuel Adams beer company from that Boston Beer Company Corporation. I have had one from the East Brother. They're out of California, and that matched up right along with. I didn't give it a 50-point inspection, but that matched right up with the Vienna lager style. Compared it to the Boston lager, like I said. And this one is just, it's right along the same lines. It's great. So, did I say I gave it an 8 out of 10 for my overall? But from Backyard Brewery, their penny farthing Vienna lager gets a BuMpy 45 out of 50, that's going to land this at an excellent brew. If anybody really likes lagers and stuff, this is definitely one to grab. I mean, there's so much going right for this. Like I said, my little minor tweaks, but that's my little minor tweaks that I would make, or I wouldn't make. I would just suggest, because I'm just a shitty home brewer. But cheers, guys, and thank you for watching.